Liverpool players are praised for seeing out a draw with Arsenal. Now let's get into it. Do you remember when Arsenal were 2-1 up at the Etihad, Trossard was sent off, and we went into that second half defending for our lives? We were called cowards, we were called bottle jobs, we were afraid. Nobody said that was a valiant performance by Arsenal to try and see out the game. When you have a lead, who's going to go to the Etihad or be at the Etihad 2-1 up with 10 men and try and play a very strong City side away? Right. But Liverpool are held and praised for getting that draw against Arsenal. Somebody was saying it was a champion-spirited performance. Some people are saying because these guys don't have their players and they're not playing well. I agree Liverpool are not playing well, but they are the current champions. They had Wirtz on the field, one of the players that they broke the British transfer record with. They had Cody Gakpo, who thinks he's one of the cast of Magic Mike, who decided to strip half naked when he thought he got the winner against Fulham. He can actually bag a goal or two. Then you have Dominic Szoboszlai, who probably undoubtedly has been their best player of the season so far. Then you also had Frimpong, who was a bit of a threat, and he had Miles Lewis-Skelly on toast. So they had enough on that field to at least get a shot on target. So I don't see how champions, current champions, are getting praised for that. If Arsenal did that, if Arsenal were to perform like that, the criticism we would have got. The criticism we would have got for that. Right? But no one says anything because it's always double standards when it's Arsenal. I was at the match yesterday. The second half was absolutely abysmal. First half, let me start with the weather. The weather was shocking, and to see so many gooners come up there. And I was a bit frustrated with the club because there was so much talk about let's be there on time. There's going to be a display. We hyped up the game. Even in the morning, there were a couple of social media posts where they were really hyping up the game. And I was like, whoa, yeah, excitement was there. It's raining. It's windy. It's a very bad condition, but we still came. I got my ticket. Wasn't cheap. And I'm looking forward to a good performance. I'm looking forward to an historic moment where you can say, where were you when Arsenal did so to Liverpool? Didn't happen. First half, I think we did well. Right. I think we did well first half. Saka was probably the best player in the first half. I was watching it live. He did have a couple of moments he got past his men and he was, that right-hand side was lively. In the second half, complete collapse. I don't know what happened. And I sat there in the stand, speaking with a couple of people, inside, trying to keep warm. And just thinking, this happened against Bayern. And we witnessed greatness in the second half. This happened against Aston Villa, and we saw what happened. We thrashed them thoroughly. So I'm thinking, you know what? We expect to see such. First half, we're probably just actually sussing them out. And in the second half, we're going to tear them to bits. Awful performance. I don't even know who performed well. Probably Timber, Gabriel, and Saliba, to be honest. Just the back line. Skelly, I won't blame Skelly so much. He was terrific last season. I think what's worked against Skelly is not enough game time. The more you play, the more confident you get, the more you adjust even more to the players, the system, and so forth. So he's not had a lot of game time. I miss Calafiori, but it is what it is. No excuses here. Poor performance. But for Liverpool, that was a good point for them. And I'm not going to take the fact that they don't have all their players. Only Hugo Ekitike was probably the only person I think that would have probably done something against Arsenal. Salah, not been on good form. Isak, been horrible. Gabriel Martinelli. Right. All over social media, there's this witch hunt against Gabriel Martinelli. Like he's the worst human being to ever exist. Right. I was at the game. I saw what happened, right? People are taking things out of context. Martinelli should not have dragged him off. I completely agree. He should not have dragged him off. But people are forgetting the context. If this was the 60th minute, Martinelli wouldn't have done that. If it was the 10th minute, Martinelli wouldn't have done that. It's the 93rd minute, 4 minutes of added stoppage time, where I don't believe that's even true. It shouldn't have been 4 minutes. The amount of times that Alisson was time wasting with goal kicks. Nobody will say anything about that. 93rd minute. Arsenal are trying to chase a winner. It only seemed that Arsenal were the only ones trying to chase the game, and so we should. It's at the Emirates, right? And obviously, Liverpool went playing for a win. It's the 93rd minute. You see Bradley in the air trying to clear the ball. Martinelli, by the time the ball goes off for a throw-in, Martinelli is not looking at him. If you watch the still frames, Martinelli doesn't look at him. As he goes to pick up the ball, Martinelli isn't looking at him. When Martinelli picks up the ball, turns around, take the throw, he sees Conor Bradley on the floor. He's thinking, what's going on? Number one in his head, he's thinking, yo, are you trying something? I didn't even touch you. It's the 93rd minute. Everybody in the stadium was thinking, you're time wasting. You're time wasting. I thought, come on, man, 93rd minute and you go down. Everybody's going to think you're time wasting. It's natural in football and it happens a lot. Just like Arne Slot said. He said it. It happens too many times. So he could even understand. He said it happens to us. We know people do things like this. So that's what he said. On that level, I can't blame the guy. And what I don't get, there's something that every football player has experienced, and that is an injury. Unless you're special or you've done witchcraft, which stops you from having an injury. Every player's had an injury. Do people really think in their right mind, if Martinelli knew he was injured, he would drag him off? He didn't. We all thought he was play acting. We all thought he's time wasting, right? Martinelli would not have done that if he knew. This is why I'm thinking, why can't people just give the guy a benefit of the doubt? It was poor judgment at most, poor judgment. He shouldn't have tried to drag him off. And when they say he chucked the ball at him, to be honest, I looked at that and I didn't really get it. I think he was trying to bounce the ball or something. Players often bounce the ball and they hold it. And as soon as it hit him, nobody's talking about the fact that Martinelli put his hand on him. When most players look like they're injured and the other player from the opposing team puts their hand on him, like to say, are you okay? Sorry and whatnot. Nobody's talking about it. He put his hand on him. Then what he shouldn't have done was drag him off. He shouldn't have done that. It wasn't a good look. He shouldn't have done that. But we can understand it's the 93rd minute. We think he's play acting. He wants to get on with the game. How many times is a sub about to happen and the opposing team is trying to hurry off the person, like to say, come on, get off. They should not even be doing that anyway. But the crowd would applaud for them, right? If this was at Anfield and one of our players did that, let's say us lot were 1-0 up, we would have all thought, yeah. Or they would have all thought they're time wasting. Arne Slot even said it. But to have people like Gary Neville turn the knife and say that one of the Liverpool players should have given him a whack, you're inciting violence. Now that's going to another level. And the fact that I don't know what's happened, if he's been reprimanded, if he's been rebuked, he needs to come out with a formal apology. Because for somebody who has a voice like him, who's one of the main voices of punditry at Sky Sports, for him to come out and openly say, he should have got a whack. You are inciting violence. And there's all this hype about hate crimes and this, that. When someone like Gary Neville says something like that, this is how players like Martinelli will start receiving death threats. What will he say then? Yeah, football fans are crazy. Who remembers that guy in the Colombian team who was shot? This was in the 94 World Cup after he messed up for Colombia. And I think a week or two later, he was killed, directly linked with his performance. So happy that social media wasn't vibrant at that time. For Neville to come on and say somebody should have given him a whack. Nobody is talking about the time wasting that Liverpool did. Frimpong went down looking for a penalty. Wirtz tried to do it as well. Our number 6, Gabriel, tries to pick him up, then offered his hand like to say, I'll pick you up. And Wirtz was just sitting on the floor like a spoiled child that lost all their milk. No one is talking about that. Nobody's talking about Alisson, who was wasting time on the ball, despite the fact that Arsenal played poorly in the second half. I'm not giving excuses for that. The fact of the matter is there were signs that they were trying to look for cheap penalties and waste time. So if my man is going down in the 93rd minute, mostly with the way football is, majority of us would have thought he's trying to time waste. We all thought that. Martinelli has apologized. And it's not enough. It's like people want blood. People want blood. Like, you know what? It's not enough. Then what is he supposed to do? Oh, a tougher sentence. We want this, that, and the other. Some people are so unforgiving. And you know what? I'm seeing it in the Arsenal base. It's like Arsenal fans are so upset with the performance. They want to channel all their frustration at the players. And I think Martinelli is bearing the brunt of it. forgetting this is the guy that gave you the equalizer against Man City. This was the guy that he has had some good crucial performances, good Champions League goals. You're forgetting that. And that's what upsets me the most. That's what upsets me. The guy was passionate. The guy wanted to get on and see if we can get a late winner. Not even that we even deserved it, but he was trying. You can see that desire was there. He cooked on that side. There was one point, I think he passed it through someone's legs and got through. The end product wasn't good, but he tried to do something. You know, I think as an Arsenal fan, as a Gooner, we've got probably one of the most toxic fan bases. I'm sorry to say it. The way I'm seeing some of us turn on each other is absolutely disgraceful what Martinelli did. And this is what I ask you. If he truly knew he was injured, he wouldn't have done that. It's a poor judgment. Like, football fans are so unforgiving, as if you live your lives perfect, like you never make mistakes. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I'm annoyed with the performance. Performance wasn't good, but I will not turn on our players like that. You know, I know Arsenal players are decent enough, respectable enough, and this season they've had good discipline, right? We are not going to do something stupid like that on purpose. He's been injured himself. Do you really think, come on, if you knew he was injured, come on. The majority of you watching thought he's gone down. It's only when we saw the stretcher we were like, wow, yeah, that's a bit peak. That's when it looked so terrible on Martinelli. But I pray for the dude, Martinelli. If he's listening, which I highly doubt, keep your head up, because this is a time when he's going to be getting a lot of hate mail. And God forbid people start sending nasty messages about his life. And I hope it doesn't come to that. And it's going to be a hard time for him for the rest of the season, because I'm sure if he goes to other stadiums, a lot of them might start to boo him. And then you've got pundits who are just making it even worse. Like, they've never committed bad tackles, or made poor judgments during games. And I think it's awful. And I think Sky Sports need to address what Gary Neville said, because that's inciting violence. And they probably won't, because they like that toxic. They like that, you know, this notion of rage baiting. They like it. It gets them clicks. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Is your first time, subscribe to All About Arsenal. And until the next video, peace.